recording and then share screen. Okay, so you can see my screen, is it? And assuming like this is your lab, is it? So I'm just assuming that you use NetBeans, okay? So you have this lab and you have this project, but when you submit, you just need to submit this source code .java file, okay? And in this case, let's see. So I already have this part. Just do a quick run, okay. Okay, suppose I have 1, then 2, then 3, and then I do this. Okay, and this is the running result of your lab, is it? And then you can do print screen. So you can, I need to snipping, I think, here in my, I'm not sure if you can see my snipping tools. So, oh, by the way, can you all see my running result screen?
No, at least I can't.
You cannot see. Okay, then I need to stop sharing and restart sharing that screen. Okay, so, but not all of the program. This is command line, okay, in console. So anyway, so for this specific program, it's console. So I run in command line. I get this part is a running result. Is it? It's a running result, and for each of your assignments, you need to have that Java file and the running result both submitted. But to simplify work, you need to zip everything together, okay? So then in this case, suppose I'm going to then screenshot the results, is it? So I'm going to put on a Word, suppose. Oh, then you cannot see my Word after I finish it. Okay, I need to stop sharing and then share the Word document. So you get the screenshot, is it? And then you can get the screenshot to a Word document, or sometimes it's just a text output within the IDE output. You can also copy it and attach it at the end of your file, okay? Then in this case, I can save it as some PDF file, as it suppose I needed to find this PC. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me find that folder for all of my not here. Okay. Let's see. I need to save it. Suppose not this one. Sorry. No, sorry, it's not that. I need to I just need to save it. Hold on, okay. I just need to save the Word document. Oh, hold on. I don't know why I cannot get back to the Word document. Hold on, let me stop sharing. See, where's my Word document? Word document. save it here, not this one. Save it in the source code. Why I don't need to? Oh, I just need to save it here. Okay. So suppose I call it lab 1. Okay. Okay, and then let me bring you to, let me first, on my computer, I get to that folder. Then you will be able to see, okay. Here. Okay, now I think I needed to share screen about this. Share screen here. Can you see my, this folder? So I just
Yes.
copy the screenshot, is it? And I name it as lab 1, is it? You can see it as PDF also, is it? And this is that source code file, Java file, is it? And then you can shift select both. And because I use Windows operating system, okay. And on Windows, you can shift select all of them, and you do right click, and then you do send to, and compress zip folder. Is it? Then this is the zip file, you zip both files together. And then you just upload this lab1.zip to our course website submission Dropbox. This makes sense? So you only need to submit the source code and the running result. You don't need to, you don't submit the whole NetBeans projects. Any questions regarding how to submit?
So we basically just take a screenshot of the code and the output and we submit it?
No. Your original code, the .java file, you cannot do screenshot. You need to have it as the original .java file. The running result, is it, you know, when you have a program, you're going to run it. You're going to have some running result. Okay, so how about let me show you this, the other way. For this, okay, you may not be able to see it. Okay, let me share screen. So this is a Java file, is it?
Yeah.
Hold on. This is a Java file, is it? The Java file in on your computer, it's somewhere, is it? Like normally we, in Windows, we have documents. Maybe this is, you have CS265, then lab 1, is it? And lab 1, you have some subfolder, is it? Because you use the Java IDE, is it? And then you have the source folder. Under source folder here, you have lab1.java file. So you need to get this Java file, and you can also have screen. Oh, suppose we call it running result. Running result.pdf file. Is it? So you screenshot your running result. Then in this file, you have both of this file. Okay, and you zip both of this file together as one zip file, like suppose lab1.zip. And then you just submit this single zip file to the Dropbox. So you need to keep this original .java file as whatever it is. Don't get it to a Word or something, okay? So we need the original .java file as well as your running result. That makes sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we get to this question clear. So everybody knows about the submission now, how to submit your assignments to the Dropbox?
The running result can be screenshotted from NetBeans as well. It doesn't have to be command line, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But in the example I just showed, because in NetBeans IDE, you won't get the result. So that's why I show it in the command line window. Okay, but regularly, yeah, with majority of assignments, you can get the running result from NetBeans, and then you can just screenshot that one. Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
And we have some other parties. They're supposed to report and the homework. Then for submission of that, and of course, if you want to submit source code, .java file, that's also fine. Okay, then because in that case, generally I put allowed files as PDF file. So then you just copy your code to Word and convert it to PDF. Okay, that makes sense for the other one. The other kind of, so we have some written one. So some questions, you just kind of write a short essay, and we also have coding work. So different set of assignments. But for coding one, you need to submit that .java file, okay? We need the .java file. So this is called source code, as well as running result. And you zip them together as a zip file and submit it. Okay, for report or homework, you just submit a PDF file. Is this clear? Any more questions regarding submission? No more question? Okay, then we will start today's. Okay, so for today's class content, we have one left over from this unit. Okay, so this is about how do we handle console input. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. This example, the name is chapter 1 console input exercise. Okay, and then let's see. So we just have this single file. Okay, so we will start with main, is it? And main, as we already learned, the parameter type is an array of string. The type is string, it's an array, okay? So what over here we try to do? Okay, so here is today's first quiz question. Who still remember what this loop is called? For string s, colon, args. Who still remember?
Is it a for each loop?
Yep.
Yes, very good. It's for each loop, okay. And can you change array elements to contents using for each loop? Generally speaking, so if I change s, will args be changed? The question?
No.
Yeah, very good. You cannot, okay, you just retrieve, is it here? Unless you do some other thing, okay, but here we didn't do, okay, so anyway, so in this case, you will not be able to change args, okay, that makes sense because args, you enter from command line, there is no way for you to change it, okay. Okay, so we understand this set, okay, so args is an array, is it? And then you just want to output each of the argument. And this is called command line arguments. But you may be curious, where does this argument come from? Is it, where does it come from? Okay, so later on, I'm going to show you. And then next, let's see. So over here, what we are going to do is we are going to use console. Okay, so the console over here, we use system.console to create a console instance. Okay, and we will see if we run in NetBeans in IDE, you will not get what you expected. Okay, so we need to run it in some console. Okay, in some command line window. Okay, so in Windows, it's a command line. Okay, so you initiate CMD, that small black window. Okay, that's called command line. And once you have that command line window open, then you type something as it following in that window. How do you get whatever you typed? You can do console.read line. And the trim is get rid of the trailing space. So this what is this. So you get off the input, you do console.read line, and it will be stored in this local variable input in type is string. But over here, we are going to do in this program is we want to calculate a sequence of integer numbers that you entered from the command line, etc. So input is a string. If you want to do the summation, you need to convert. So here is, so this is a string. This is the integer number, is it? So you needed to convert string to integer number. Okay, so that's what this part does. And then what next here is you can keep entering numbers on the command line window. Okay, so we can use a while loop. And here, when do we stop? When you enter quit, it's going to stop. So that's why this while loop is it. So you use check equals, but we ignore uppercase or lowercase. Okay, so if it is not quit, then you keep doing, is it? But we will see there's sometimes if you enter is not number formatting, then it's also wrong, because then this parse integer, that method won't work. So if you enter the number, then it can be converted to the number. Then you accumulate, you do the summation, is it? And we are going to output the number, and we are also going to output the summation outside the loop. And here you keep asking user to enter the input. Okay, so that's what this program does. The problem is how do I run this program? Is it? And generally you say, oh, I run in the IDE. Is it? Click that small green. And then did you see? Can you see my running result screen on NetBeans right now?
Yeah.
Okay, and then take a look here. Take a look here. It looks like you have some output here. Is it? It's like, oh, welcome to here's, so that's what our output. But here they have hello world CS265. So where do they come from? Because you didn't see these 3 words in our program, is it? And later on, it complains. So here you have error. So this program not going to give you the corrected output, is it? So something is wrong here. Okay, so now let's go back. Is it this line we do have in our program? Welcome to CS. Oh, is it CS265? But hello world CS265, we never have it in our program, as you can check. So where do they come from? Basically, because over here, okay, so we try to run this program in command line. Let's try to get from the command line, is it? And let me show you. So in NetBeans, I put my mouse right on the NetBeans, the project. Is it? I right click it and I go to property. Can you see my current property window?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you see on this property it has a category, is it? And I highlight that wrong, is it? And on that wrong, did you see this wrong? And what did you see? It said arguments, hello world CS265, is it? So that's, so basically these 3 words are the command line arguments. Okay, so I kind of configure it in the project configuration in IDE, is it, to try to get a command line input. But that's not flexible, is it? Because each time you run the program, you may want to have different set of arguments, is it? So how do we do that? This comes back to, let me share another screen. Here, command line. Can you see this small black window now?
Yes.
Okay, so this black window is the command line window. Okay, so in Windows, if you do CMD, is it, it will bring this black window up. And there's a couple of simple commands you can type, is it? Oh, I cannot do, can I do? Okay, I can do. So like over here, I type dir, is it? dir, what it shows, it's display your folder directory, is it? So it will show whatever under this folder, is it, under this folder. I can do like a cd ... So let's go back. If you take a close look, I do this cd ... that means bring to bring up a level folder, is it? Because classes is under folder builder, is it? So it move you to builder folder. So if I do I cannot do, I needed to do. Okay, then if I do dir, so it show, dir means directory, and then you want to see what's in this directory. Then did you see it that, oh, here you have that classes directory. And how do you get to the classes directory? The classes. So now it bring you back to the classes directory, is it? And we can always run our Java application in this kind of command line window, okay, console. Okay, then in this case, you just type Java. I need to, because it's otherwise, it's a very long name. I cannot do that. I already hold on. Okay, let me recopy that part. Copy. And okay, and if you let me clear all. Clear all. Okay. So now did you see I type Java and the following Java? If you take a close look at this project I created, the name is called chapter 1 _ console input example. Is it? And this basically is our package. So this Java application package name. And the following it is chapter 1 _ that console input ex, is it? So that is the classes. After you compile the Java file, to generate that .class file, is it? So this is that class file. Okay, so the class is under the package. So that's why you need to have the package dot the class name. Okay, and so this is called you run this Java application in command line. Okay, command line. The command is what? Is Java. Okay, after that, you specify the class, Java class you want to run. And then following that, I can do like argument 1, argument 2, argument 2, argument 3. Suppose I also type CMO, CS. And then did you see the running result? It says, okay, the command line, here is the arguments from commands, argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, CMO, CS. Is it? So it take whatever you type following this Java command, is it, with your application. So this 5 words that I just typed, argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, CMOS, those are command line arguments. It's very flexible because that app you already created, but each time you may run with different argument, is it? Then I can enter like the number, do the summation in this case. Then I can do quit. Then to give you the running result. Is it? So this is the running result of this application. There is no error reported. Okay, then let's get back to our, so previously I showed in NetBeans, we get all of those errors, is it? It won't conduct this part of summation, is it? But this time you see, even though in NetBeans you set a command line as hello world CS265, is it? But when we run our program, it has nothing to do with those 3 ones, is it? It instead has the dynamic one, the real-time command line words, is it? So this shows us how you handle command line arguments, okay? And any questions regarding this part?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
so for the command line arguments, I know you typed in argument 1, 2, and 3. What would we practically use those for in a program? I guess.
Oh, that's basically in the real world. A lot of time you needed to use that. Okay, suppose suppose like Java anyway. After you compile Java, it generates an application. Is it? So it's a data class file. So that's an application. Is it? And just like Android phone application is an app. Okay, it's an application. And with that application, the purpose of app, and right nowadays, mostly you do application is GUI based. Is it GUI based? So you have windows, is it? And you have buttons, you have input text box, is it? And even in mobile phone, you have those. So those applications called GUI application. Okay, but sometimes suppose in some specific scenario, okay, suppose you have some electronic device that doesn't support GUI application. It can only support command line, those kind of very simple. Suppose some outdoor field, small devices. And over there, you can only deal with command line. Then in this case, you may need those command line application. And when you use it each time, then suppose the command line depend on day. then you need to every day you need to enter today's date. Then you cannot have a fixed one. You need to change to make it dynamic change based on today's date and time. That makes sense?
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, that small black window, it's also an app. Okay, it's just we are not using because now everything, because the GUI app, so all of our daily use online or mobile phone app, etc., or Windows app, it's very user friendly. But of course, if you have GUI, then it need more hardware resource. But with some very primitive electronic device, they may have very limited hardware resource available. Then in that case, that command line is very handful. Okay, and basically, when I started learning computer at that time, back in 80s, late 80s, okay, because Windows 96, I remember, yeah, starting around like 96, and late 80ish, when I was in college, at that time, we don't have like a GUI computer program. At that time, all computer program is command line. Okay, so it's just like what I show. So if you want to run app, you need to do something like what I just did. Okay, you run that program. Okay, command line. So then everything you deal as the text input. And because at that time it's mostly used for scientific computing, okay, and that's enough, okay. But nowadays it's applied to every field, so we need more user-friendly application. Okay, so any more questions regarding the very good question? Okay. So it's very old fashioned. Okay, we can call that kind of application dinosaur application. Okay, but it still has its usage. Okay. Any more questions? So it's also kind of like in programming field for professional people, you will see it's kind of like this kind of cycling. It's a cycle, okay? So you see, we started to learn as a very in the back 30 years ago, you learn command line, and then move to GUI, but nowadays, if you go to professional world, a lot of professional developers, they still like to do a lot of command line. Okay, they don't like this IDE. Okay, so it's more organic. Okay. Anyway, so that's some side story. Okay, what next one I'm trying to show, we have another way, okay, also running this in GUI with our NetBeans, okay, within our NetBeans. Then let's uncomment this part of code. Okay, so I comment out the system.console, okay. I replace that with scanner. Okay, with scanner. So for scanner, it can also take user input from keyboard. Okay, but the scanner is more broad. Later on, when we learn input output stream, we will also, it can also take input from file. Okay, but here it takes user input from keyboard. And input from keyboard is called standard input and output. So standard input keyboard. And standard output is what? It's our monitor. So you output to the monitor. That's it. So that's standard input and output. And you can now because of GUI, later on in our class, we will also learn GUI, is it? Then it's a different story, is it? And so this is standard input output, and the file also have input and output. Okay, for this scanner, it takes system.in, so this is standard input output category. Okay, later on we will also say it can also take a file input. Okay. Okay, anyway, so here we are going to get input from keyboard. Is it, how do we get it? Later on we will see. Okay, then said, oh, you enter some positive integer. And for scanner, you see, it can directly take a integer. So it's called, you do next int. You call this next int method. Okay, you keep calling next int method. So then in this case, simplify your work. You don't need to convert, is it? Convert from string to integer. Okay, and then let's see. I will save this change and I will run. Then this time, did you see, did you all see my output window?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you see this time, I have that anyway, output, is it? Then this time I have hello world CS265, is it? Now I can get my input, is it? I enter 100, then I add 200, 300, 400, 500, then I quit. Oh, I believe I typed something wrong. Okay. Oh, it's not quit here. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's why here it report error. But anyway, did you see this time I type of the input here? Is it in the output window? Is it within a NetBeans? Is it? So this also works. Okay. But okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the share. And over here, then the issue is each time if you want to change a command line input, then you need to change it here. Okay, so here is a hello world. Is it? I can also change it as arg1, arg2, arg3. arg4, suppose arg5, is it? And then I need to save it. Then I run it. Did you see the change for the output? This time it's changed from hello world to arg1 to 5. Is it? It's very inconvenient. Is it this way? Is it? And of course we can still enter our number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the maybe 909 like this. Yeah, and the stop the termination condition for the loop is this negative number, is it? And then it will give you the summation calculation. Okay, so over here, oh, why I all keep closing that? Okay, let's get back to the source code. So in this case, what I'm trying to show is you can do both ways, okay? But if you want it more flexible so that you can change your argument more easily, then system.console is a good option, okay? Otherwise, you can just do scanner. Okay, do scanner. And this part just try to show, okay, where you can get this args. Okay, the args is get from your command line. Okay. Okay, so that's for the last example for this unit. And I think you can start to work